What is up, Nuggets? It's your boy, Killer Pizza, here with a brand new video for you rascals and rapscallions out there. Now, first of all, I want to thank anybody who has subscribed to my channel over the past week. Now, I don't know if the algorithm bug has hit my channel again because I seem to get quite a few views on my Black Friday Vinegar Syndrome haul, unboxing video, whatever you want to call it. And I appreciate everybody that watched, everybody that subscribed, all that fun jazz. But at the same time, I can't help but think, man, that kind of sucks if that's your first introduction to my videos. Because though I think they're nothing special, I would like to think I'm a little more vibrant and energetic and passionate about this shit in my videos. But I was just feeling so sick. And speaking of catching the bug, I was saying in that video that I recorded 1 week ago from today, last Saturday, because I'm recording this Saturday night, that I had like the stomach flu or something. That's what was going around. I ended up going to the doctors, and it turned out I caught COVID for the second time. So yeah, they told me to quarantine 5 days since the day I felt sick, which was Saturday when it really hit me, and then wear a tight mask back to work when I'm around people. And I would say 1 week later, as of the time I'm recording this video, I'm finally starting to feel somewhat better. So with that being said, I didn't want to hold back on a Sunday video and 'tis the season, so I thought I would go back and rewatch a movie I found a lot of fun when I first watched this, and this is a Vinegar Syndrome release. This is 1990's Deadly Games, Dial Code Santa. Now, this was directed by... Now, watch, I won't be able to find it fast enough. Damn it. See, this is also something to get accustomed to. Renee Manzor. It wouldn't be a classic... Killer Pizza video without me flubbing some shit up. But anyways, I find a lot of people looking for pretty good Christmas themed horror movies, which I will say it's probably the best season when it comes to themed horror movies. Now, you could say Halloween, but I think that's kind of like a default, because just because a horror movie takes place on Halloween doesn't mean, you know, it's a Halloween themed movie. It's a horror movie. Same as I could say of like a family comedy or something taking place on Christmas, which is the norm for that genre. So it's kind of fun when we get these kind of cross-contaminated films of like horror and Christmas and whatnot. Which this one, released through Vinegar Syndrome, which I picked up last year, still available on their site without the slip, unfortunately, is one I never heard of ever before. I watched this last year, and I just watch the 4K version. So, you know, in this copy, fucking up again, you get the Blu-ray and the 4K, which is in my 4K player. But yeah, this movie is a lot of fun, especially if you grew up watching a lot of like action films in the late 80s, early 90s. So this is a French film for one, if you're going to check this out. It has subtitles, which I'm obviously not the biggest fan of because I don't know how to read, but this movie is well worth it and a lot of fun. Pretty much this movie follows two lead characters in a way. We have this young boy, Thomas, which, first of all, look how awesome and amazing this cover art is. This obviously isn't the original artwork, but that is so beautiful. Really wish I could have the slipcover for this. But anyways, this kid, Thomas, he's being raised by a single mother, and their grandpa also lives there. His grandpa's very sick, going blind and whatnot. It's just them three, and their dog, of course, in probably the biggest mansion you will ever see in a movie. Like, this is literally a castle. So this kid Thomas grows up just idolizing John Rambo, and all types of action heroes. And you know, the movie kind of opens up with him running around his house with all these trap doors and everything, in this mansion, playing games with this dog, like doing like action movie scenes from the 80s. You can see how he's dressed on the front cover with the paint across the face. It's really cool stuff. You know, he's got his little airsoft gun and all that. I'd say this kid's, what, maybe 8 years old or something like that. So we find out very early on that, you know, the grandpa's pretty sick. They're taking care of him. And this kid still believes in Santa, though a lot of his younger friends don't. And his mother runs like this giant mogul, this huge company. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I feel like it was like a toy company or something, but she has to take off for Christmas. And she's going to order him literally like a truck full of toys, which this kid has every toy in the world. And she says, you know, he tells her Santa Claus isn't real. And she says, well, Santa Claus isn't real to naughty kids, because then it gets exposed that Santa isn't real to them. If you want gifts and you want to be on the nice list, be good. And, I'll see you later. She takes off for work and she goes to throw this big old party down the street. We got clowns, people juggling stuff, flamethrowers, all types of Santas, all types of stuff like that. And this is where we kind of get introduced to the villain, this guy on the cover. Now, this is one of the creepiest characters I've ever seen in any movie, regardless of genre. Now, we have this old guy, and they show him in the beginning, like, he sees these kids playing, having a snowball fight in the beginning, and he tries to, like, make his own and throw a snowball back at them and be, like, part of it. Like, he seems to have, like, this childish glee to him in a way, and all the kids run away from him because he's creepy. And this guy's just kind of drifting the streets until he sees, like, he goes into this big festival that Tom's mother was going to throw, and it's awesome. I won't lie. Visually, it looks great. That's one thing I will say right out the bat. This is a stunning movie, the way it's shot and what's going on. This looks like Times Square, but in France, apparently, like I said, a French movie. And he gets hired in as Santa Claus, and he's absolutely loving it with these kids, which I should mention, he is a pedophile. So fuck this guy, man. And he's like all creepy with these kids sitting on his lap and everything until this one little kid says, I don't like your face. You're not the real Santa Claus. This dude bitch slaps this little kid. And Thomas's mom is right there, grabs the girl, and she's crying and everything. Says, where's your mom at? They go to find the mom. She says, you're fired. Fuck you, you fucking creep. Go into the office and, turn your shit in or whatever. But earlier in the movie, when Thomas was trying to prove to his friend that Santa Claus was real, he was on like some kind of chat board where you could like anonymously like chat with people from the streets or something, like some kiosk looking thing. I don't know. I'm not sure what that was, but the villain was chatting with Thomas trying to get his address. And when he can't get it, he ends up getting it through the office when he turns in his Santa clothes. So now he's on his way to Thomas's house. And he shows up right down the chimney. Thomas is so excited to see Santa Claus, but then the dog attacks him. Dogs can tell when people are assholes. Cats too. In a part I don't like, luckily it wasn't as brutal as it had to be. It was clearly fake. I hate animal deaths in movies, especially real ones. That's why I've never seen Cannibal Holocaust, and I know there's an animal cruelty-free version, but I just don't fuck with that type of stuff. But he kills the dog. And when he kills Thomas's dog, that's when he freaks out and realizes this is something more and something real. And then we pretty much go on a wild goose chase with this evil Santa just chasing Thomas through the house. And he's got to resort to all these old school like action movie tropes. And this is where the movie is most known, in my opinion, when I did a little reading up on this when I originally bought this film. This came out in 1990, and apparently they had a lawsuit with the people that made Home Alone, saying that Home Alone was a direct ripoff of this movie, which clearly, I don't know if it's a coincidence. The people behind Home Alone said it was, said they'd never seen this movie before, but, I mean, you got a home intruder breaking in to a house on Christmas with a little kid fighting him off with booby traps. Now, where this is different, these aren't the sticky hand bandits, or whatever you call them, which I love Home Alone 1 and 2, by the way. But this is a sadistic, fucking crazy, lunatic, pedophile Santa Claus. And it shows. This guy's acting is unbelievable. Like, when he slaps this little kid, the look in his face he gives in the score, it's so creepy. There's a reason this is considered not just a horror, but a thriller. Because there's so much that will keep you on edge in this film. And when it comes to the booby traps that this kid sets, there's also a reason this is kind of referred to as the adult version of Home Alone, because this kid is setting up some of the coolest traps you can see. He's literally putting like C4 and gunpowder and grenades and throwing them. He's taking his little dart gun and lighting them with lighter's fluid while he has gasoline on the ground, like baiting the Santa Claus in to shoot the dart at him, start the flames. Lots of cool stuff like that. This movie is a lot of fun. I love this. Now, I know subtitles aren't for everybody, but for me, sometimes, like, when there's subtitles in a movie, what outshines it more is that it's a foreign movie, obviously, so it's pretty fun for me to see, the culture in different areas of the world, like in France. It seems pretty similar to what we were accustomed to at that time, but you can tell the differences. And this movie, honestly, doesn't have many subtitles as you would need, like to have to really pay that much attention, because a lot of this film is just a cat and mouse game between Thomas and the evil Santa, where they're just chasing each other around. Which that would be one criticism I would give this film, is that it gets a little slow at points, but I think most times the second act in any film gets a little slow. But at the same time, the cat and mouse deal adds to so much tension in this film that it really has you on the edge of your seat. And I know it's a typical thing to say with like filler words when you're reviewing a movie, but the cinematography in this is absolutely unbelievable. Just like when they are down at this downtown Christmas party, it looks unbelievable. It looks like their version of, Times Square. So whenever they were shooting this, looked great. And there's another scene where he's running from the Santa Claus and he jumps onto the roof, and it's like a snowstorm, and just all the white snow on top of this mansion while he climbs out the window and cries and everything is something to see. And you don't really need the subtitles with that. And with that being said as well, there is like a rock and roll song that's played in the intro and the outro, but for the most part this is like orchestra music, and it's played really well. I love the music, I love the way it's shot. This is just a pretty fun movie. This is something that this is something like you've never seen before, even if you've seen Home Alone. And something I really appreciate about this film is that the little kid in this movie is absolutely terrified and traumatized out of his brain. Because too many times I find in horror movies especially, like, this happens and they get the upper hand, they're like, yes, or like the end of the movie, like, we did it. But like, this kid is going through psychological damage the whole movie, and it shows. And I like how it just builds to the point of him having breakdowns as a child and having to problem solve his way out of it. Because this killer, like I said, I can't give this guy enough credit with his acting in this movie. It literally looks insane. It's like I heard Mick Foley say back in the day, if you're a wrestling fan, it's like it's about the look in the eyes. And he literally looks like the lights are on but nobody's home. And the fact that he's a pedophile, like, which is absolutely fucking disgusting, but in the sense of a movie for cinema's sake, boy does that add the tension to this film. And I absolutely love this movie. If you want to check this out, it is on Amazon Prime. Is the only way to stream it. You can rent it. I highly suggest it. And you should do that now before I give away the very end of the movie. Also, obviously, you can pick this up through Vinegar Syndrome. Yeah, like I said, with the kid being traumatized, he ends up, like, having to hide his grandpa. And that's a big part, too, because his grandpa's so blind and sick, he's trying to save his grandpa. But then towards the end, his grandpa needs his insulin or his medicine, or he's going to die. So the kid's got to go fight for, to find the medicine and whatever. And he ends up shooting the Santa Claus outside. But then when he saves his grandpa, the Santa Claus comes inside one last time, the final classic, oh, you better shoot him twice, like Scream taught us. And just the fear in the kid's face in this final scene. He shoots him, kills him. The mom shows up with like her associate or whatever. And this is some of my favorite acting in this entire movie. Is he's sitting there next to this dead Santa Claus, and the mom comes in, she's trying to reassure him. This kid doesn't blink once, I swear. He's just huffing and puffing like he's seen a ghost. Like, and then they kind of replay like what the mom was telling him earlier, like saying like, if you don't believe in Santa, he'll turn into an ogre. You shouldn't see Santa early. He'll punish you, put you on the naughty list. And this really like adds the idea, like, it's not a happy ending. It's happy that he survived, that everyone survived. Pretty low kill count, I will say too. That's why I see this more as a thriller. But not the most satisfying ending, just because they got away safe, because they play off so good with the acting that it's clear this kid is going to have psychological damage for like the rest of his life. And I mean, like I said before, that's what would happen. Like, what would you do? You're just a little kid. But with that being said, there's not much I didn't like about this movie. Like I said, the original score was great. The way it was shot, especially on 4K, there's a lot of good colors. And even when there isn't colors, just snow in a nice black sky, it just looks really good, really crisp. The way it was shot, the angles and everything was a lot of fun, and I like the realism in the characters. Now, I would have liked more kills. I would have liked more characters, maybe more people shuffling in and out of the house. But for what it's worth, it's a lot of fun to be kind of this cat and mouse game of this kid getting chased by this evil Santa. So that part to the defense of my own criticisms, I thought was a compliment on the film in itself, if that makes sense. But with that being said, I don't know. I'm glad to get this video out. I already went 15 minutes. I didn't expect to go this long, but here we are again. Classic Killer Pizza videos. But either way, you guys, there's tons and tons of good horror-themed Christmas movies. But I think this is one, though it got a nice release through Vinegar Syndrome, that a lot of people haven't heard about and a lot of people don't talk about. And after my second time watching this, this is great. This is a Christmas time classic in my opinion, and I highly suggest everybody checking this out. Other than that, you guys, I'm happy to be feeling better. Hopefully by Monday, you know, it's Saturday night as I'm recording this right now. Hopefully I feel better by Monday, and we can I can head towards a good Christmas with the family and friends and all that. Other than that, I hope all you guys are having a good holiday season. Hopefully you're watching some good horror movies that are themed around Christmas and whatnot. Give me some suggestions in the comments if there's certain Christmas-themed horror movies you want me to check out, or if you've seen this one in particular. Other than that, guys, hopefully everybody's having a good one. Blood Guts Gore. I'll check you next time.